If you've ever wondered what it really takes to change not just your body, but your life, Jelly Roll's story might be the most raw and human one you'll hear all year. The country rap star just revealed why he dropped a staggering nearly 200 pounds, and his reason wasn't vanity, trends, or ego. It was something much deeper and much darker than most fans ever imagined. Before we get into how he did it, hit subscribe so you never miss the stories behind the headlines. For years, Jelly Roll, born Jason Bradley DeFord, lived in a body he described as both familiar and suffocating. Nearly 500 pounds for much of his adult life, at times he could feel himself dying. That wasn't dramatic phrasing. It was literal fear of a body pushed too far. On the Joe Rogan Experience, he admitted that as his 40th birthday approached, he began to seriously question whether he'd make it that far alive. But that fear wasn't abstract. It was visceral, a wake-up call no one wants but many secretly dread. Jelly Roll explained that multiple heart scares, past addiction struggles, and the physical toll of carrying so much weight finally caught up with him. The realization that he hadn't ever met a 500 pounds 40-year-old wasn't about age, it was about survival. He'd lived his whole adult life battling with food, substances, and emotional pain, and the combination had nearly cost him everything. That's when the transformation stopped being about looking different and became about staying alive. The weight didn't just affect his health, it affected his life. Jelly Roll went public about how his size severely damaged his sex life with his wife, Bunny XO, and even joked about the awkwardness it caused. Those candid admissions weren't for shock value. They were part of explaining the emotional cost of his former lifestyle, and how deep the effects really ran. This wasn't just a loss of pounds, it was a loss of connection, confidence, and quality of life. Despite fame and musical success, nothing grounded him like his family. Jelly Roll spoke about how heartbreaking it was to see his weight strain simple moments with his children and wife. He vowed he had to make a change, not for likes, not for headlines, but for his loved ones. That emotional pivot marked the real start of his journey. When the reason to change comes from love rather than shame, the transformation becomes about restoration, not punishment. Unlike many celebrities who hide their transformations behind closed doors, Jelly Roll chose transparency. He said he lost this weight publicly on purpose, wanting to bring fans along with him to show people that even rock stars don't escape their struggles. He talked openly about food addiction, emotional eating, and the psychological components that made weight loss harder than just eating less. That honesty turned his journey into something more than a physical metamorphosis. It became a story millions could relate to. As the pounds fell off, Jelly Roll's life began to shift in surprising ways. He reported having more energy, better sleep, and a calmer mindset, even describing himself as a better person overall. He went from struggling to walk a few steps without windedness to completing 5 Burmese chats and setting new fitness goals. Men's journal, but most importantly, he regained control not just of his weight but of his future. This story isn't just about losing weight. It's about facing mortality, confronting addiction, repairing relationships, and refusing to give up even when everything seems stacked against you. Jelly Roll didn't do it for praise. He did it because if he didn't, he might not be here to tell the tale. And in a world obsessed with quick fixes and fad diets, that's a lesson worth hearing. Jelly Roll's decision to change wasn't motivated by a scale, it was driven by fear, love, survival, and hope. His journey reminds us that transformation isn't just a physical process, it's emotional, spiritual, and deeply personal. And sometimes, the terrifying realization that you might not live is the most powerful motivation of all. If his story moved you, hit subscribe for more deep, emotional celebrity stories that remind us all why health, family, and honesty matter more than headlines.